Thank you, Holly, for being here.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Some quick background. I'm from Pulitzer Center, which is a nonprofit journalism and education organization in DC. And I'm an outreach coordinator. So I'm more on the education side, but I do have a background in journalism, television journalism and radio and print, kind of dipped around a lot of things. But now I get to take the work that our grantees make and make sure that its life goes beyond the 24/7 news cycle, and that work is shared farther. So I will be showing today a film called Flamenco Queer, which is a documentary created by two of our grantees, Frederick Bernas and Ana Gonzalez. I think a lot of times we think about journalism as really fair, objective, even reporting. And that is true, but it's also storytelling. And I think that this film is a really good example of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with that, and then we'll have time for questions and kind of to dig more into what we have to offer professors, instructors, students, and how you can maybe use some of our work in your classrooms and elsewhere. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and start sharing my screen. And when I start, would someone just give me like a thumbs up to let me know if they can hear it? Okay, cool. Start here, make it full screen, and hit play. Cool.
Hago coleta, ¿no? Mira, Manuel, a mí me gusta antes de poner la peluca, poner siempre una prebase para poder sujetar bien la peluca. Antes no se ponían, pero ahora mismo, sobre todo para los espectáculos, se suelen poner ya que tú bailas mucho y mueves la cabeza.
¿Le podemos echar gomina para que quede...?
Eso es. Una vez terminado el peinado, a mí me gusta fijarlo con gomina o con laca. Ahora, mueve la cabeza, Manuel.
Sí, aguanta, ¿eh?
Aguanta demasiado. Luego, claro, una vez al quitarla, habría que ponerla en una cabeza de corcho para mantener la peluca siempre en buen estado.
Soy Manuel Liñán, y soy bailador.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
¿Cómo estamos?
Buenos días, ¿cómo te va?
Bien, ¿y tú
¿Bien?
qué tal?
¿Todo bien? Perfecto.
Me alegro verte.
Igualmente. ¿Qué necesitabas?
Pues nada, aquí estoy haciendo un espectáculo con vestuario de flamenca y necesitamos un zapato
O sea, un zapato con, bueno, como conocemos ahora, como los zapatos que conocemos que usan las mujeres, un zapato, pero claro, adaptado a nuestro pie, que es un pie más ancho. No sabes tú qué idea me puedes dar.
Tendríamos entonces que adaptar a un zapato de mujer, ponerle vuestra forma del pie y adaptarle el tacón cubano, que es el que usamos para la bota y para los zapatos de hombre. Ahí, eso es, que asiente bien el pie. Y ahora yo...
En el mundo del flamenco hay una parte conservadora, como también lo hay en general en la sociedad, en la que por el hecho de ser varón no te permiten bailar de una determinada manera. Yo empecé bailando profesionalmente a los 13 años en un tablao en Granada y nunca llegué a imaginar que luego iba a poder representar mis trabajos en sitios como la Opera House de Sydney y bueno, he tenido la suerte de que han reconocido mi trabajo con algunos premios. Yo lo que quiero con este espectáculo es sanar algunos aspectos de mi infancia. Tengo miedo de que el espectáculo sea juzgado, que la gente se pueda levantar de la butaca y marcharse a mitad de la representación. Tengo miedo por mi padre, porque para él es difícil aceptar este tipo de propuesta. Tengo miedo al fracaso personal. Pues mis primeras clases fueron en el colegio. Yo estaba en el primer curso que se llamaba Párvulos, tendría 5 o 6 años. 1, y ahora lo hacemos seguido. Y pa, 1. La primera relación que yo tengo con la ropa de mujer es en solitario. Empiezo a hacerla escondida en mi casa, en mi dormitorio, sin que nadie me pudiera ver, sobre todo por miedo. Porque cuando lo hacía me sentía que era ridiculizado. 8, 1, 2, 3. Yo cuando empecé a bailar me decían que tenía que mover solamente 2 dedos. Pero para mí era muy aburrido. Me gustaba más toda la mano entera, para mí era más bonito. Pero podéis elegir, ¿vale? O aquí, si nos sentimos cómodos bien. ¿Sí, Miguel? Y si no, podemos hacerlo con 2 deditos. Como cada uno quiera, ¿vale? Y 1, y 2, y 3, muñeca, y 1, y 2, y mirar, y ahora baja los codos arriba. ¿Qué tal? ¿Sí o no? Sí. ¿Seguro? Sí. Y 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. ¡Vuelta ahí! ¡Vamos!
Para mí el toreo es lo más bonito del mundo. A mí me llaman el extremeño porque nací en Badajoz en el 1945. Como ser torero era muy difícil. Un día me decidí a Madrid a cambiar de ser mataó a ser banderillero.
Bienvenidos a la Plaza de Toros.
Que me fui con un amigo mío en un camión y tuve un accidente. Ahí ya perdí todo de mi vida. Yo me creí que me había muerto. Los médicos me decían, ya nunca podrás torear, Manuel. Cuando me enteré ya que iba a tener un hijo, fui a por el tercer niño con la ilusión de tener un hijo que fuera torero.
Desde abajo. Ahora el extremeño está esperando en el ruedo y ya viene el toro. Toro bravo, toro bravo. ¡Vamos!
Pero el niño no lo quería. Muchas veces me acuerdo de Manolo, de Manolo Liñán,
El extremeño está toreando con gusto hoy.
que no se quiso poner arroyo en los carteles. Yo se lo dije, si eres bailador y no eres torero, te pone el apellido de tu madre, porque yo quería que fuera torero.
Mira Capote, mira arriba. Bueno, el extremeño ahora está toreando con la mano izquierda.
Ahí fue el fracaso más grande que tuve en mi vida.
Bien toreado. Ahí, mira Capote. Muy bien.
Yo era un chico muy tímido y me di cuenta que la danza me permitía poder expresarme, poder hablar. Siempre me llevó mi padre tanto a estudiar como a bailar a todos los sitios. Ana.
Manuel, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, un poquito nervioso que estoy ensayando.
Muy bien, qué ganas, yo también. ¿Ya viste el escenario?
Sí, maricón, es muy grande. Es muy grande.
Yo lo sé, yo me cagué también.
Es muy grande. Estoy preocupada por el vestuario, Ana, que esté todo igual, que las cosas que no estén grandes que nos metan.
Sí, ya hablé con las sastras, están todas prevenidas, Daniela ya llevó el vestuario, eso va a estar súper bien.
Pues guay, tía, pues ya está.
Estupendo. Ahora tengo una noticia que contarte.
Dime.
A ver, momento Carpio.
Sí.
Finalmente no puede venir al bolo del sábado.
¿Cómo que no puede venir?
Es que yo no te lo había dicho, pero cuando yo pasé las fechas, él tenía una gala de cante de él en solitario, que es súper importante para él, intentó cambiarla, no se pudo y está súper agobiado, pero es que para él es súper importante.
Pero él sabía que íbamos a estar todos los días, Ana. Eso no nos puede pasar ahora.
Yo sé. Pero bueno, no sé, yo llamo al bola.
Llama al bola, pero llama al bola corriendo.
Yo le mando el vídeo y no sé, él está aquí al lado, está en Sevilla, no va a haber problema.
Bueno,
seguro.
si puede, por favor, dile que un favor personal, que por favor que lo haga por nosotros.
Vale.
Que es importante para nosotros. Y si fuera
Vale, no
así,
te agobies.
el día de antes, maricón, el día de antes un ensayo con él y que venga con el vídeo aprendido, porfa. Pero llámalo
Vale,
ya
vale.
y me llama ahora.
Vale, perfecto.
¿Vale?
Venga, un besito,
Un
fuerte.
besito. Adiós.
Adiós.
Diciendo tu madre y que tú vales más.
Creo que la sociedad, si no te incluye en un círculo, está incómoda.
Tú vales más que yo y que tú vales más que yo. Ay, ni tu familia ni toda tu
Termina rodilla, hacer su solo y ya termina el baile del todo. O eres queer, o eres hombre, o eres mujer, o si llevas esta prenda perteneces a otro colectivo. Yo espero que mi espectáculo ayude a que cada uno pueda expresarse como quiera. Estoy convencido de lo que quiero hacer y de cómo lo quiero hacer.
A orilla de un río yo me voy solo y yo me pongo y a coger vareta.
los medios cuerpos. ¿Tú te acuerdas del vestido verde? Ese que era de quién era, de...
El vestido verde era mío, después de tu hermana, después Farda y después pasó a ti que me lo quitaste para bailar.
Es el que yo me ponía de
eso.
chico.
El que tú te ponías cuando...
Eso tiene que haber fotos, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
¿Tú
tiene
sabes
que
dónde
haber.
están?
Las fotos están
del vestido
por
verde.
ahí, por aquí deben de estar.
A ver,
Busca, ves que yo sin las gafas no veo bien.
a ver... ¿Está aquí?
Sí.
Madre mía, mamá, hija, que lo guardas todo.
Todo lo guardo, pero lo guardo desordenado. Sí.
Ah, mira que este.
Sí, mira.
Este, ¿no? ¿La
Míralo.
podemos sacar?
Sácala, claro.
Este es el vestido verde.
Y aquí estás tú, y este es el que tú te colocabas cuando ponías la mesa.
Cuando me
detrás de la
escondía ahí
puerta.
detrás de la puerta.
Eso es, pero tu
Oh, qué de
madre,
tiempo.
tu madre,
Tú lo
tu madre
intuías.
te intuía, claro que te intuía.
¿Y yo y qué me ponía en la cabeza?
Pues mira, cogías un paño de cocina y te lo cogías con 2 pinzas de los trapos.
Y, que,
Y te ponías así a bailar. Tengo el pelo largo.
Oye,
Y yo sabes que en algunas ocasiones te decía que vienen por la puerta, quítatelo.
claro, porque cuando venía papá no lo
Porque
quitábamos
cuando
corriendo.
venía papá había que quitárselo porque papá no, tu padre eso no lo podía soportar. Ya está, pero a mí no, eso no me ha afectado a mí en absoluto.
Aquí con el capote torero
sí.
que papá me enseñó a torear,
Sí,
¿no?
¿y tú te acuerdas cuando estábamos en Armilla y mataron un toro? Quería tu padre hacerte una foto, que tocaran los cuernos del toro y te ibas a morir llorando.
Yo me acuerdo que me
Claro.
llevaba a la plaza de toros y me vestía de torero y me enseñaba a torear que quería que fuera torero.
Vemos la cinta.
Venga, ponla.
Un aplauso para Manolillo Liñán.
Estero de Santipetri, Salina de San Fernando.
Yo empecé de una manera natural a manifestarme como me apetecía.
Donde se duermen los barcos y la del Guadalquivir, y la del
Pero me topé con una parte social que me hicieron entender que eso no estaba bien. Y lo primero que aprendí fue a mentir, porque no lo podía dejar de lado. Formaba parte de mi ser.
Quiero llorar mi pena y te lo digo, para que me quieras y me llores en un anochecer de ruiseñores, con un puñal, con besos y contigo. Quiero matar al único testigo para el asesinato de mis flores y convertir mi llanto y mis sudores en eterno montón de duro trigo. Que no se acabe nunca la madeja del que quiero y me quiere, siempre ardida, con decrépito sol y luna vieja. Que lo que no me dé y yo no te lo pida, será para la muerte, que no dejan sombra por la carne.
Durante los ensayos yo me imaginaba como una esfera de aire donde nadie podía hacernos daño, donde ya éramos lo suficientemente fuertes como que no teníamos que soportar ninguna carga, ningún modelo social. Estábamos reafirmados, sabíamos lo que queríamos hacer. Y conseguir eso era muy emotivo porque íbamos a dar un paso, pero no lo íbamos a dar a escondidas. Lo íbamos a dar para miles de personas. Venga, ayúdame. Ay. ¿Tienes la petaca, no?
Sí. No, la petaca no. Esto.
Eso, suéltalo.
Mira que te la abrocho.
Faltan 3 minutos para que comience la representación.
Tranquilidad y nada, que todo va de maravilla. Disfrutar mucho. Tú también. El flamenco para mí es mi vida. Yo encontré en el arte, en el flamenco, la manera más honesta que tengo para comunicarme. Lo que pretendo con Viva es trasladar ese hecho y esa opción de poder elegir cómo quiero manifestarme. Digamos que es un hecho privado, que lo expongo para que sea un hecho público y para que esté tratado con formalidad y sea aceptado.
Ay,
No llores, ya está.
ya está.
¿Qué?
Que es muy fuerte.
¡Twerking!
Tú vale más que yo, ni tú ni todita, ay, tu familia.
Y si vienes herido, vete al hospital, que te cure la madre de la caridad. Con la alegría.
Como el aire sobre la arena. El duende. ¿Dónde está el duende? ¿Dónde está el duende? Convierte con mágico poder a una muchacha en paralítica de la luna. ¿Dónde está el duende?
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Holly. That was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I love sharing that film. It's just very powerful, and I feel like just a great representation of how journalism can be art and vice versa. So I also, the Pulitzer Center focuses on underreported stories. That's, how we got started, making sure we could fund projects that, might not always get accepted by major news publications, or, freelancers might not have the budget to take it on themselves. But as you can see, that one was accepted by the New Yorker. So, over the years, I think we've really come a long way in sharing those stories. There's something that Manuel says near the end about, taking a private act and turning it into a public spectacle so that he can earn respect. And I think that that's just a great way to look at just journalism as a whole. Peace is building connections with your local and your global communities, often in the face of conflict, and making those connections, though, can be difficult. So I think storytelling is a natural bridge in forming those connections. But I just thought that would be a good example of a story that we've shown and shared a lot, in order to, highlight a lot of these issues that are not limited to Spain or to Manuel and his family, but overall. And on our website, we actually, we have quite a few lesson plans based on different stories, and Flamenco Queer is one of those. So if that's something you're interested in, we have lesson plans. They're all free, that take our reporting, and have, guiding questions for anywhere from, elementary school to college level students. So, and a variety of different subjects. I would say, this one probably focuses more on arts and culture, but we also have a lot of stories that deal with science, reporters who work for Science Magazine or National Geographic, and breaking that down into pieces that students can better understand by taking these narrative storytelling lenses. So I was going to, just keeping an eye on the time, I was also going to, show our website really quickly, David, if that's okay, just kind of how to navigate where to find everything there, because everything's free, even stories that may be paywalled on, like, the New York Times website or something like that. We have it for free on our website, so that's how you can access it if we've supported it. So I will go ahead and share my screen there. So this is our website. You can see all of our journalism we support through this tab, so either by stories or projects. We also have stories by college students as well. And if there are any students here, I also wanted to highlight that we have internships. So great chance to really work with a lot of the journalists publishing their work on our website, planning events with them. Or if you'd like to share that with any of your students, I would highly encourage it. And we separate things too by issues. Of course, things overlap, so we often tag them multiple times, but you'll see we really have a lot of ground that we cover, which is something that I really appreciate. My background is definitely more like liberal arts history. And so, science can be kind of overwhelming for me, but especially recently, just seeing a lot of the reporting that's been done on the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. And I'll just click there to show you. I think it's much more accessible and, really puts these stories through the eyes of people and not just like data and numbers. And it's quite incredible. And I also have to give our K-12 program a big shout out, because they are the ones who develop all this curriculum. Many of them have education backgrounds, and so they create these lesson plans, which, don't be deceived by it being under the K-12 tab. This is the levels can you can separate it here. So all grades, elementary through college, and even adult learners. So we've actually in recent years begun doing some programs for people who are incarcerated. So that's something that we find very important as well. And 1619 Project, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. We developed the curriculum for that as well. Those resources are still up on our website. So that's something you're interested in, definitely go for it. We also have a number of free webinars for educators talking about that. And many of them are professional development opportunities as well. So we have the certificates and everything. If that's something that you need in your program or just you'd like to learn something new, we definitely encourage you to join. But I want to make sure we have time for questions. So I will stop sharing, but I'll put the link to our website in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead and unmute. Like I said, I always want to bring the Pulitzer Center in because their resources, I wish they were used more in education. There's just so much that they do, and the visual media film is such a great way of teaching, not just because of the pandemic in the Zoom world, but overall. So just go ahead and open your mic and ask a question of Holly. Don't wait, anybody. Go ahead, open your mic. I don't have to call on people because I know you probably have a question.
I have a question,
Go
David.
ahead, Mina. Go ahead, Mina.
Okay. Holly, so once you decide on a film project, do you know what your what the outlet will be that you're going to show it on ahead of time, or is this something that you do after the film is finished?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So grantees, we have like rolling applications for journalists to submit at any time when they have an idea. But we often encourage them to come to us with an idea of who they will pitch it to. And that might be anything as informal as, well, I know this person here and I think they have an interest in them, and we help them make that connection. Or, you know, they might have actually worked with this outlet before and can get like an email from them saying, well, you know, once we see the final product, we would be interested in redistributing it. But a lot of times too, like, you know, someone might come to us with a local outlet, their local newspaper, local television station, or, you know, PBS affiliate. And then because of the network we have, we're able to also help them pitch to other places to make sure it's distributed widely.
Yeah, if you're a regular on the NewsHour, hour, at least once a week, they're doing something that's a partnership with the Pulitzer Center. So, yeah, see Pulitzer Center all the time. Anybody else questions? Thoughts, observations? Go ahead, Kim. Yeah, please.
Hi. So I was just wondering how you form partnerships, not necessarily with the people, the outlets that are distributing, but the partnerships with the directors and perhaps the educators who are involved in developing curriculum and stuff.
Yeah, it is really a combination of things. With directors, do you mean like film directors or directors?
Well, my apologies. Journalists. Like I guess you're working with journalists mostly, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
and really just like across all mediums. I know when we started in 2007, we were focused mainly on print because our founder, John Sawyer, he came from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and his background is in newspaper reporting. But now we work with, you know, obviously filmmakers, people who work on podcasts, you know, data scientists and editors who work with journalists to do these amazing projects on, you know, land distribution and rights or artificial intelligence. And yeah, we meet them, a lot of it's through word of mouth. You know, we work with people who then share with their friends that if you need money for a project, go to the Pulitzer Center, or, you know, they'll be reading National Geographic and they'll see like this project was supported by the Pulitzer Center. But we also go to a lot of journalism professional organization conferences. So National Association of Black Journalists, Asian American Journalists Association. That's just something we do to like share, hey, there's money here, you should apply for it, and meet a lot of people that way. On the education side, we meet a lot of the teachers through the workshops and webinars that we do, which pre-COVID were in person as well. We would do like professional developments with colleges that teachers, K through 12 teachers, were invited to. They're just hosted by the colleges. And then, you know, teachers would share those amongst their networks, and it's grown that way. And we actually, since the 1619 project, we've actually started having teacher cohorts, so teacher fellowship cohorts, who develop their own curriculum and share it that way. So our website for the 1619 project is actually launching, what day is it? It's in like 9 days. It's like that week of like November 15th. And so there you will see a lot of the work that cohort has been doing to, you know, just really bolster that work and make it branch out. So yeah, it is really like impressive just how much spreads from word of mouth. We do, of course, do like some promotion on social media and things like that. But yeah, that's probably the biggest part of our networking.
Cool, thank you. And and your funding source is private, or is it through grants, or?
It's most of our like major funding, I would say, is through grants that we just apply for. We started with a grant from the Pulitzer family, so that's where the name comes from. But we're separate from like the Pulitzer Prizes. Same family, different organization. So, but we do also, you know, have a lot of donors that are not like big organizations, just, you know, like my mom giving $25 or something like that. And so, you know, if you or anyone you know is able, would greatly appreciate your support, because that's what really keeps us going. So yeah, no pressure there. I completely understand. But yeah, we also have on our website like a list of all of our donors. So, you know, as a journalism organization, we want to be very transparent about where we're taking our money. Like, we don't want to be taking money from an oil company and then not able to have journalists doing critical work of that company because of a conflict of interest. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Other questions, please. So open your mic. I'm curious if anybody here has used any of the Pulitzer Center's work with their students, kind of on the journalism end, or using some of the films they've produced, or maybe if you're thinking about using something, how you might use some of what they've produced out there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear any ideas you have for, you know, how to use journalism in the classroom too, because I obviously love to share that with our team, or if there's anything you've done in the past, even not with our resources.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, you know, interestingly, like I've got students a lot who are delving into performance art. Like they're really like, it might be my influence, I don't know. But you know, like, because I show a lot, I think performance art is a really interesting, kind of very accessible art form. And so I'll bring that into the classroom sometimes. And there's always these moments where I encourage students to, you know, if they want to make performance art, they could in front of the class. And there was one that was done recently, and I just thought about like, how could this be kind of presented? Because the thing about performance art is that it's always so dependent on kind of like live reactions, right? Like being in person. And you know, I was always interested in how to journalistically like either document that or present that in some way. So it's kind of where my mind's going right now, so that it's accessible to other people. Because we show, like a lot of times I'll show Yoko Ono's cut piece or something like that. And every time I show it, I'm like, man, I wish it was better documented. You know, I wish there was something to kind of show the reactions of people in the room and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's just my weird tangent. You don't have to answer that. I don't know.
No, I mean, I agree. I think it's just, I mean, obviously you all know, like, it's community building. And so like seeing that, like not only how the performance is done, but how it's received, I think it's like, it's a huge part of it. And, you know, sometimes it could be negative. Like, I think that sometimes protest is a form of performance and vice versa. So, yeah, just seeing that I feel is a huge part of it. And yeah, I don't know, like maybe what a solution for that could be other than filming it, or, you know, maybe seeking some sort of like written feedback from students, or I know something we do with like work on paper is, having just people do written responses, or, doing like the blackout poetry from works of journalism, which can be really interesting because you're taking this like very nonfiction work and then using it to make art, or like drawing responses from it. So yeah, a lot of ideas there.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for the question, Kim. Anyone else want to ask a question? Yes, go ahead, Shannon, please open your mic.
I was just wondering, do you guys handle the production of these films, or is that usually the filmmakers?
Yeah, it's usually the filmmakers. Although some of the folks on our staff actually started working for us because they were like grantees making a film, and then stuck around with us to join like our multimedia team. But yeah, most of the time they come to us with their grant that, lays out, I'm going to have this person doing photography, I'll be doing the writing. And we actually have like a private like Facebook group and listserv for our grantees. And sometimes we'll even connect with each other to like work on projects, if they, know that others have different strengths.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please just go ahead and open your mics. Few last minutes we have here, questions.
And I will also put my email in the chat.
Yeah, that would be great, Holly.
Definitely open to sending any resources along, or connecting you with someone from our education team. Oh, I misspelled it.
You got it right?
I think it like auto-corrected my first initial out. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. If there are no other questions, thank you, Holly, for joining us. I know it's a Saturday, and I appreciate especially people present on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I always want to bring Pulitzer in to show the latest and greatest of what they're using. And so thank you.